Welcome back to UKSG Red 2024. This event, we're raising money for Crisis. You can donate with the links below the stream. We would also like to shout out ESA and BSG for their continued support. Now it's time for Zrilix to run Blasphemous Any % Bifecta. Take it away.
Hello, so yeah, this will be Blasphemous Bifecta, starting with Blasphemous 1, and we're going to start in 3, 2, 1. So, right away, there's some stuff going on that doesn't make sense, but I just skipped a cutscene by overlaying a pause menu, which is something that will happen a lot in the run, and hopefully have disabled the tutorial, which likes to enable itself every single time you boot up the game. And that right there was a little animation cancel for healing, as we make our way to the tutorial boss.
Straight away you're going to see Zrilix switch between the controller and the keyboard. That's because there is a move called up CC. So basically he's going to do an up attack, he's then going to crouch, he's then going to cancel the up attack, and then that basically allows this to happen where we just spam attack.
The normal attack is like this.
Yeah, so very slow. So we're going to do this, and that makes the boss dead in about 2 seconds.
So that's tutorial boss Warden. He's never an issue unless you can't do up CC stuff properly. But up CC is our main attack form. There's only going to be one more fight in this run, really, which is unfortunate, but this game is loaded full of tricks and glitches that don't make sense. This is your boy Deogracius, who is their sort of companion for the game, or Daddy Deogracius, as some will call him.
How many bosses would there be in a normal game if you were just playing vanilla?
I think there's about 12-ish, depends on what ending you're running, but...
And we're fighting 2?
I'll
Yeah.
it for a bit.
So this section is just a bunch of movement. That little jump off of an attack in the air is called an air impulse, and you do it in this version by holding down at the same time as an attack. And that right there also is a little technique called an item catch, which is if you attack in the air just before you grab something, it will sort of teleport the penitent one towards it, so you don't have to do a fall animation or anything. It's quite nice. And messed up the
Scan
block.
me on the phone.
That move becomes a lot easier once we get to Blasphemous 2.
Yeah, a lot of everything becomes easier at Blasphemous 2. So here coming up, I'm going to be leveling up the sword 5 times from a single sword upgrade to altar using a thing we call Infinite Mea Culpa, Mea Culpa being the sword name. It's going to look really weird, and you won't actually see a lot because I'll be playing a lot with the pause menu overlaid. And unfortunately to listen, but this is also a point where I'll probably be silent, so if there's anything to be read, this is a good time.
Alright, we have $25 from Prof Monkeys. Baby Monkeys has changed her mind again and now wants to kill the animals. More donations to come as her preference changes.
So pretty much here what's happening is he's going into the room, activating the menu, which is cancelling off the cutscene, but we still get the upgrade. So that's why you're not really going to see anything, because he's basically just going back through the room from the starting point, going back into the room, cancelling off the cutscene, restarting, and doing that over and over until we get to the 5th upgrade.
Can't find the ladder. So far we're on 3 upgrades. I need to get 5. And I'm missing every single ladder, but it's okay.
Felix is pretty much only using audio cues to try and get to this point, and just muscle memory. He can do a slight change of the menu to see a little bit of the screen, but we try not to.
And that is all 5.
So now we can just cancel off the cutscene completely, and
We're going.
continue on with the run.
So now we will be making our way towards one of the biggest glitches. Well, I guess, yeah, you could call it one of the biggest glitches because it makes a way for other things called the super jump, which is a little bit for now, but it's a hefty explanation. Basically, you can ledge grab in this game, and you can also wall climb, and if you wall climb into a ledge grab and pause during the ledge grab, it will continually multiply the Penitent One's y-axis the longer you hold on to the ledge, or the longer you're paused, sorry. So we will be abusing that a couple times in the run, but for now it's just a bunch of platforming nonsense.
And you're going to see, with some enemies we're able to just dash through them and the iframes basically carry us through them. Other enemies like these ones with the shield, we actually do need to jump over them. And this becomes a bit of a bigger deal again in Blasphemous 2.
Ooh, messing up the platforms. The caveat to that being you can jump through them, which is quite nice. So the item we picked up at the start of the game, which is one of the only non-quest items we pick up, is a prayer called Verdialis, something. And it's the only prayer we'll be grabbing in this run, and it's only used really for a couple times. Oh, got the swag jump. Shout out to Roshi if he ever sees this. So here is a super jump. So I'm going to hold down and get hit, unfortunately. So nice super jump.
Yeah, so if you get hit while you're on a wall climb, it basically stops you being able to do this.
And if you go too high there, you also can fall out the map, which is really nice for ending runs.
Yep.
And coming up is our first wrong warp, which is also going to look kind of funky. I'm going to try to get good menu storage here through this. I did. So right now I'm running to the side, as you can see, and there's a shop which acts different to a normal transition, so the shop's here. I'm going to go through the shop and exit the shop and exit the menu at the same time, which loads the game with the main menu on top, and then load the game running into a room which puts you into a default position in the room instead of where you're meant to come out. And the default position for that just happens to be where we wanted to go. And we've skipped a very large portion of the game now. And there is another very large portion of the game that I'm about to skip as well, with the hardest trick in the game called a zip, which in this game, when you climb up a ledge, it disables the Penitent One's collision box for a split second. And if you combine a ledge climb at the same frame as you do a super jump, you get a zip, and I will hopefully not take 20 tries to do it. And that was too early. Unfortunately, you have to wait about 7 or 8 seconds every time you fail this.
And this one is frame perfect, isn't it?
Yeah. And it's just gonna keep doing that. Ah, come on.
See, this game is just filled of tricks. When we get to Blasphemous 2, that is going to be have a bit more downtime. There's just a little bit more running around.
I'm doing it too early every single time. You know, last night I got the second try. Oh, come on.
Do you have time for a quick donation?
Yeah, you got time. I was going to say this might take a bit.
Alright, we have $30 from Zero Kieran with no comment, and $30 from Yippee151, Save the Homeless and the Animals. And those were both towards the Super Metroid Any % Old Route, Save or Kill the Animals.
Save the animals. Come on.
Save the animals. There we go.
Nice. There we go.
So that's a zip.
Yeah, that is the hardest trick in the game, and there's no real way around that, because it's a huge kind of sequence break moment of the game.
So this is probably the last item you'd pick up in a normal run, and we've got it 9 minutes into the run. So there's 3 of these masks which allow us to get to the end of the game. The game doesn't actually count them as like unique objects, which is very important for the next section. However, before that, we're going to do another kind of wrong warp, which is a death warp. I'll try it a couple times. If I don't get it, then I'll just do the boss fight. But I would like to hopefully get it. In a normal run, this will save 10 seconds, so it's not mega important unless you're pushing world record, but it should be okay. It's a bit finicky. There's a move that we don't use, which is a ranged attack, and if you hold the button instead, you will do this sacrifice, which gets you fervor, but also drains your health and your tears, which is the currency. And we got it. So basically, drained health
Nice.
to then die and load the game. So we've skipped a boss fight there, which is just 2 wardens. And I'm really glad that worked, because a lot of times it doesn't work. And I'm glad I saved.
Who needs the basic
I
jumps
will
when you
just
can
fight
get
the boss, and you can see
warps?
who I've skipped, because that's unfortunate.
But it does give us a chance to see some more up-CCs.
Yeah. Oh wow, it's the first boss, but there's 2 of them. Okay, so that is what we skipped with the Death Warp. Which is why it's kind of... It's up to you whether you skip it or not.
Yep. And when we were talking about Fervor earlier, you're going to see the blue bar that's at the top. That's basically a kind of mana move, which is basically what he used there. That move is actually only used, I believe, twice in the whole run.
Pretty much.
But it does require that Fervor to do.
You've seen me use that there accidentally because conveniently the buttons for Blasphemous 1 and 2 are different, and it's very easy to press the wrong ones. Here's quite a scary section because those spike hitboxes do not actually represent what they look like. They extend quite far out and will kill you.
Which is quite a common theme in Blasphemous in general.
Yeah. So here we're going to combine a super jump with an item catch to grab this lever and enter this room from the back. Here is mask number 2. This is going to be another good time if there's anything to read, because I'll be doing some running and running back again.
Alright, we would like to thank ESA for supporting this marathon. Besides providing us with their channel for streaming, they are sharing gear and technical assistance. ESA Winter 2024 is right around the corner on the 17th to 24th of February, so tune in on this channel on those days to check it out. Back to you.
Thank you.
Cheers.
So basically what we're doing here is just going back to that room. Is that not?
Not yet. It will be though.
So basically we're going right now to go put those masks that we just got the plinths, and that is where we've seen the first use of that magic attack there. And we'll see it once more at the end of the game.
So yeah, here is the lift. And this requires 3 masks, which you usually have to kill 3 bosses to get. But because we are speedrunners, we are not killing any of those bosses. And that mask we picked up just happens to still be here. We must not have picked it up in the first place.
Yeah. Thankfully, like we said earlier, they're not unique items, although they do have different names. So we just pick up the same one, bring it straight back to where we were, and we can use it again as the 3rd mask.
Ooh, that was weird. So for the sake of this run, as we approach the end of it, and I miss a jump, there is a checkpoint I'll grab before the last boss, just for safety.
And Zilix does have to be careful with climbing those walls, because if he gets hit during it, he cannot continue climbing the wall and has to start that again.
Got a nice animation cancel there. There's a specific position you have to stand in to kill that thing. Well, there's probably multiple, but there's ones we've worked out that work for killing with that prayer. So now, yeah, we're gonna climb up, kill not the last boss, but the last boss for the sake of this run. I'll grab a checkpoint in case I die at it, which doesn't happen often, but can happen.
Yeah, so here we're going to be going up quite a few levels. Is it 1 for each mask?
Yeah, 1 for each mask. I'll quickly take a little detour here. And not die.
Safety first.
Safety first. So this version of the game, which is, I think, the second version, because the first was 105, this is 106. They had a different voice actor for Chrysanta, if anyone knows this game. And it is quite a bit different. But this boss is a little bit stressful because it's a lot of manipulation and also a lot of RNG. So here we go. And I'm in the wrong position and missed the parry. So straight away she's doing attacks I don't want her to do.
Yeah.
Which is really nice. That's what you want her to do. I'm going to take a break to heal, and she's doing all the wrong patterns, unfortunately.
There is quite an RNG element to a lot of these bosses.
And she is doing the one attack you never want to see. I might die here. I'll heal just to be sure.
So we do have counter attacks as well that we can do with parries.
There's the death. Now the next run will go very much better, you know. Unfortunately hit the wrong button for parry, which screwed up, messed up, sorry, a lot of the time. And here when you die, waste time waiting on the lift and then the lift going back up. And pressing wrong buttons again because of Blasphemous 2.
Very kind that they'd swap out all the buttons from one game to the other.
I mean, you had the chance to change them, but I figured they changed them for a reason.
And were you right?
Hmm?
Were you right? Did they change it for a reason?
Relatively. Something is attacking when it shouldn't, and I don't know what it is. That's still not the right button. There we go. So that's what you want her to do. At 60% health, she will change phase. And, okay, we're doing this again.
So generally we want to be on the left-hand side, or sorry, yeah, the left-hand side of her at all times so that we can get those attacks. But this also works as well.
She should change phase now.
Basically, as much as possible, we want Chrysanta with her back to the wall.
Now the best loop here is when she does 3, because I will always know where she will spawn. But she can do 5, which she hopefully won't do.
And here we see the other use of magic there.
Okay, she's done 3 again. Might be able to kill her here. Maybe. And that's Chrysanta. Not the ideal way, but that's the fight. We have one last trick, which better work first try, because it wastes a lot of time. It's another death warp into wrong warp to skip the actual final boss of the game. But we are approaching the end of the run. So what we're going to do is we're going to go back down the lift, fall off an edge, and pause just before I die, hopefully. And that will make me die, but also let me exit to main menu, giving me another main menu storage. Another time for talking, because this could take a little minute.
Alright, I would like to talk about the Super Metroid bid war. Save the Animals is currently in the lead by $815.81.
Let's go.
Kill the Animals has $661.19. So, if you would like to see those animals die for whatever reason, get your donations in.
Save them.
Back to you.
So, I paused the game a fraction too early, and unfortunately this is sometimes inconsistent. So there's like a small window that doesn't seem to be exact for when you have to pause the game. But hopefully it will just work the second try. And it's not.
What we're looking for to kind of determine if it is, if it has went through it, is a purple screen, if I'm right.
I'm just listening for a sound,
Right.
basically, and then it will come up with the usual death screen, but I'll have control still. If I don't get it within the next 2 tries, I'll probably have to just kill this one. Maybe. Go on.
And what's the current Alidus?
Okay, so we got it. Don't
Nice.
have to kill it. So
And what-
now we're going to go kill the end of the run. Not kill the end of the run, not kill the boss, rather. What were you saying, sorry?
What's the current world record for this run?
The current world record is 1340 by yours truly.
Okay, and here we are.
So that has been Blasphemous 1. I hope you've enjoyed this absolute mess of a run and how confusing everything is. We didn't kill anything or see half the game, but usually the time would be when the screen fades to black, but we'll let it fade and swap over to Blasphemous 2. 20 minutes isn't too bad.
The mountain of ashes that swallowed up sins and sinners alike has had no mercy on you either. At the mercy of the miracle
Am I good to
you
swap?
were, and at the mercy of the miracle you remain. You are no longer anything but one more anonymous visage, without a voice, without countenance. Your penitence is over.
Let's work. I don't know if that's just launched the wrong game.
There we go.
Okay, so on to Blasphemous 2. I think it's also just launched the first one, but it should be okay. So Blasphemous 2 has a cutscene at the start where we can talk a little bit. This has came out, well, I was about to say this year, but it's now last year. And it's made by the Game Kitchen as the first one, and they have completely rebuilt the game from the ground up. It is entirely different movement-wise, it's entirely different attack-wise, and weapons and prayers and everything. It's a much nicer game feel-wise to play, at least in a lot of people's opinion, because they made everything really smooth and actually made it more of a Metroidvania than the last one, giving you abilities and weapon choices that also open up different areas to the map. So at the very start of the game here, we're going to be given a choice of 3 weapons, and we will be taking one of them, which is the sword. Now, if you remember for the first game, I said we had an air impulse where you have to press a button at the same time as attack to float in the air. In this game, they just let you have it with the sword without having to press buttons. So we're going to go grab the sword here, which is called Truego al Alba. Sorry for the terrible pronunciation. The reason we're taking the sword is because it's the longest to get if you take another weapon, and we need the sword at some point in the run. Well, very early in the run, so we take that instead of the other 2 weapons.
And we're going to beat a lot more bosses in this game.
Yes, there's more fights. So this is the last one we done was the any percent category for Blasphemous 1. This is the any percent restricted category, which there's 3 categories for the game right now. There's unrestricted, restricted, and no major glitches. Unrestricted has the ability to freeze time and make yourself invincible. And this is essentially the same run, but we're not allowed to do any freeze time or invincibility. So here's the tutorial boss for this game, the Faceless one. And he only has 2 attacks really, and he always does the worst ones. And these, no, these are the ones you want. These are the ones you want. That's the one you don't want. It will knock you down, does a fairly decent chunk of your health. You won't really ever die to the Faceless one, but it will mess up the rest of the run for health management and fervor management.
And ideally, we'd like the Faceless one to end on the right-hand side of the screen,
Which she is going to do. Nice. So now we're going to go meet Annunciada for a very, very, very short time, who is our guide of the game. It's the Deo Gracias of this game. And it also involves the only section of keyboard mashing. Well, not the only section, the only instance of keyboard mashing, since there is no up CC in this game, which almost all of the Blasphemous runners rejoice in, apart from Elton, if you ever see this. Don't know why you still want up CC to be in the game. It is slightly in the game, but it's not really.
So all the keyboard's going to be used for in this run is really just skipping dialogue and skipping cutscenes.
Yep.
as such.
Orospina. So now she's showing us 3 areas that we have to go to, 3 bosses we have to kill. Unfortunately, we won't be killing any of those bosses because we don't need to.
Sorry.
Yeah, so you'll see half of the bosses of the game, I think. And we can't turn off the tutorial in this game either. So the first section of what we're going to be doing is running to get Tears of Atonement, which is the currency. We need 6,000 to buy something later on. So that is what we will hopefully be doing, and I won't need to use the backup plan, ideally. But this is going to be a lot of running as well, so over to you, Cherry, if you have anything.
Maybe not. So yeah, it's basically the same kind of movement that we had in the first game. We've got the dashes, and we've got the aerial attack that lets you build some momentum again. We're going to see this area quite a lot.
Yep, so this is like the hub world sort of thing of the game, the Albero of this game. We're going down here to get an ability to wall climb, which if you see those metal grates on the side of those walls, that's the only things you can climb, and hopefully I will be able to hit this trick here. I didn't, it's okay.
Nice.
That's your first reset point of the run if you're dead runs, and it gets very frustrating. You'll see this area a fair few times.
And that Tears of Atonement is basically our kind of currency of the game.
Yeah, it's
so
the
we will
souls.
be making a purchase later on.
So that's the spell that we picked up. There's no Verdialis in this game. Thank you for dying. And here we meet Yerma, who gives us the ability to upgrade our weapons. Playing the game normally, she will assist you with boss fights, but we won't be asking for her assistance in this run.
She has a very bendy pike.
She does have it's a spear.
Spear.
Or a lance, or and I've mistimed that. So we'll be using the backup plan this run.
Yeah, typically you can kind of get across there quickly without it falling down and get those tears without having to come back later on.
I just need to remember to go to the backup plan. That's your job. When I'm going to get Veredicto, that's your job.
Oh god. I thought all the pressure I had was pressing the button.
Oh no, you've got more pressure now. So here, Jesus, here I'm doing short hops, which is a much faster way to climb platforms. That's also not meant to happen.
Yeah, we're now out of sequence a little bit. That's
Yeah,
okay.
it's the rotation of enemies. But as soon as the Penitent One's knees are basically on a platform, he will climb up it, which is really convenient for a lot of platforming in this game. It makes everything feel a lot smoother. The dashes feel a lot smoother, and just everything in general is nice and fluid in this compared to the first one, which is really jarring if you go from playing the second game back to playing the first one. Everything feels really floaty and laggy and not fun. So we're about to go pick up the most broken item in the game, which is another prayer called Mirabris of the Return to Port. Now, the only function of this prayer is to return you to the city of the blessed name. What the devs didn't intend on was breaking the whole game with it, so it will be shown a lot later on. It's the main use of what we're going to be breaking with, main thing we're going to be breaking with, because it gives a context menu, and it's the only prayer in the game that gives a context menu, which is incredibly broken. So now we're going over to get our second weapon, Sarmiento and Cistella, something? Oh, we'll just call it Sarmiento. It's a rapier and dagger, or a lightning rapier and dagger, which we will need during the run, and it will also open up our doors for glitches. I'm going to be doing another small trick here to skip some of an animation, if I can remember how to do it. So we're going to open this door, pause, unequip the prayer, and re-equip it, cast the prayer, unequip and re-equip, and it gives us movement again, and it's just a very, very small time save.
Yeah, it basically cancels out the us using the lever, then we cancel using the prayer, and that lets us move while a little bit earlier, rather than having to go through the whole lever animation.
Yeah, it's a little bit of time save, it's nice to have. Fortunately here I have to kill some things. Who would have thought in a Metroidvania you have to actually kill something? I'm glad these grouped up together. And we have to kill this dude as well. Now this is a heavy melee, there's 3 elements of them in the game. Miasma, fire and lightning.
We're going to see that enemy a few times during the run as well, but
Yeah.
there's a couple that we can skip.
That's also the last you'll see of Petaneris, so if you like that prayer, I'm afraid you only have 10 minutes to enjoy it.
Still more than Blasphemous 1.
Yeah. So I need to just not take as much damage going through here as I can. Ideally none, but don't live in an ideal world sometimes. There's quite a lot of things that try to make that dream not come true. So we're almost picking up the second weapon now, and then we're going to go pick up the third weapon. But this will open up a very fun trick that can be very inconsistent. So here we are. Now this tutorial for the weapon we cannot skip. The next one we will. Sarmiento and Centella, okay. Made the sound of doing it early. Okay, so we actually got the early teleport, which is rare but very nice when it happens. Usually you have to wait a long time. So now we're going to make our way up and showcase the fun that can be had, excuse me, with Mirabras and another weapon.
Yeah, so we don't have any kind of ledge grab main menu that soars us into the air this game, so we have to come up with a different method.
So the first thing that we're going to do, which is the first use I found of this, is an infinite ladder climb, which is totally intended and is very limited to ladders, of course, so we are not stopping with just a ladder climb. The sword, which we... Oh, I need to go. You messed up your job. I need to go get my tears.
You said when you got the third weapon? When you got...
Doing the backup route. Surprised I remembered. So, this Ruego has an attack that looks like this, called Weight of Sin. And we are going to be abusing that because it has 5 frames during its animation, where you gain height, and I'm struggling with it.
Yeah, and this can take a few tries. Well, there is a few kind of different speeds you can get with this, and you'll see probably most of them during the run.
There's 5 speeds, so it is a 5 frame trick technically, but if I could actually get it to work. This is a nightmare.
And this is a lot
Come
of
on.
listen to audio cues.
I think I'm going too early. I just can't get it to happen.
Any donations at the moment?
I would like to remind everyone that we are about $365 away from $5,000 to Crisis.
Amazing.
If you would like to,
There we go.
exclamation point donate in chat. And if you donate $10 or more, you'll be entered in a prize draw for an eTechnics PC maintenance toolkit. And if you donate $25 or more, you will be in for the prize draw for a Sonic Pocket Adventure Perler.
Nice.
Back to you.
Thank you. So we've seen it a couple of times used there. I think we actually got a couple of speeds there to show off. So it basically shoots us in the air, which is very not attentive as well, and lets us skip a lot of the game.
Yeah, so I'm not too confident with the rest of the run if that's how it's going to be, because there's areas where that needs to happen first try. But we'll worry about that when we come to it.
Goes with the practice run.
Yeah. So that's Mirabris Ascension. There's basically 2 frames where you can get fast ones, and we're looking for the fast ones, but it's really a 5-frame trick. And there's going to be a fair few of them in the run, and hopefully I will have them more consistent than that. But for now, it's okay. I might have to do some safer strats. So here we're going to grab Veredicto, but we're going to use Mirabris again to skip the tutorial for this one instead. Now the whole reason this is possible is because if you change weapon... Where am I going? Beyblade. If you change weapon during a prayer, it allows you to move in this version of the game, and so all we do is we swap weapon and then do whatever we want to do as we cast the prayer, which is really, really convenient. Unfortunately, they patched it in the next patch by just not allowing you to swap weapon.
Yeah, so that's why we have to play on an earlier version of the game.
Yeah. Veredicto is the best for getting fervor in the game, so we'll be using that quite a lot for just gathering fervor. And here, these guys have weird hitboxes, and only when they're facing away from you, you can pogo over them. So Sarmiento gets you a different air ability, it lets you pogo over things, which is convenient mainly for that right there.
Yeah, so it basically pushes you into the front of their hitbox, and then that hitbox then pushes you forward.
All I done there was change my weapon order so that things swap properly later on. So here we're going to pick up our only quick verse, which we're calling Beyblade. It's actually called Bleeding Miracle.
Oh, Beyblade's better.
Beyblade's better.
So I'll let it rip.
So I'm considering whether I want to kill things in the room that I'm about to go to because of safe strats.
And here we can just wait for him to turn around. And get our pogo.
There we go. So hopefully this will work first try. I actually don't need to get the tiers on the right here because I went safety strats, or backup strat.
And this is going to be a tense moment because in the practice we did mess up.
And first try. So that's a stressful bit, that's now over, which is very nice. And here we're going to go buy our Beyblade.
Carefully.
And I'm going to be careful to not buy the wrong thing.
Nice. Yeah, in the practice we bought the wrong thing and wasted about 15 minutes.
We equip the Beyblade, and we're going to make our way back up to do our first major sequence break of the game. And is the whole reason we don't need to fight any of those first 3 bosses. So usually the first 3 bosses that Annunciada told us about would lower down the elevated temples, which is currently above the City of the Blessed Name. But instead of us waiting for all of that stuff to happen, we're going to go to a tower where you're meant to collect 33 Proximal Brothers, and every one that you collect will present a platform, leading you to the top. But I don't know if you noticed we have an ability that lets us fly, so it changes that just a little bit. I'm going to save for safety. And show off some Beyblade. So, this is Beyblade. It does ridiculous damage.
It could also be Knuckles.
It could be Knuckles. I think it does 36 damage per tick, or something like that. Now hopefully we'll get a good ascension here. Or none. Okay, so we got the second fastest, I think, which is very nice. And we went to the top of the tower. I need to wait a section here because I need to be able to pause to do some fun things called a phantom hover. So it lets you cast this, and if you pause the start of the cast, it doesn't use any fervor. There used to be a different strat for getting across there, but now We have Phantom Hover, which was only discovered recently, I think. Well, I know. I think, I can't remember who discovered it, but a lot of people in the Discord put it into practice in different areas. We'll be using it again later on as well, quite a few times. So here we're going to get an upgrade for Veredicto for another upgrade later. These upgrades allow you to get different abilities on the weapon. So we now have Veredicto 2, and that will allow us to get an ability that we need later on in the run. But for now, we're going to go break the game.
More.
Yeah. There's also another version of the Mirabris Ascension coming up. So there's two versions of Weight of Sin, that downward attack with the sword. There's the first version, which doesn't break anything, and then there's one at max height or high enough where it will break tree roots, which is what I done before the Beyblade. Now, what the game says when you're over a platform that will go into a transition, it just says you're at the max height. So if I drop through a platform that has nothing below it and do a Weight of Sin, it's going to do a max height Weight of Sin. But if I do an Ascension with a max height Weight of Sin, it's going to give the property of breaking things while also doing a Weight of Sin. Like so.
So that way we can then break the things that are above us
Yeah.
when we're not actually above them.
And here I'm going to try and not mess this jump up. Okay, nice. And pogo over him first try, or not? Okay.
Nice.
Shout out to Heafy. If he sees this, he discovered you could pogo over them, which is really nice. I'm not going to try an Ascension in this room because it wastes time. So at this point in the game, you're not meant to be here at all unless you beat 4 bosses. And we're here without having beaten any. So to unlock this door on the left of us, which takes you to the end of the game, that golden door, you need to get 5 doves released from the cages in here. Now, because it thinks we've already done things properly, it's going to release a dove without us having killed a boss. And it's going to also unlock a new area that we won't even go to, because we are sequence breaking everything. So we get this dove released, it's going to spawn this new area. All the areas in this game are scripted events for progression, which means we can't break it too much. Not yet anyway, we're working on it. So for now things look normal, but we're going to go kill a boss that the game thinks we've already killed, called Aphilor. And he's a super cool boss, and hopefully nothing funky will happen when I go to fight him. But we have to go down through here again, and we're going to go to an area that is actually the only area from Blasphemous 1. It's not ripped out the game, but it is. This game is 1,000 years in the future from Blasphemous 1, so it's in a slightly different condition than it was in Blasphemous 1.
We also never seen it in the run.
Yeah, you didn't see it in the Blasphemous 1 run either,
Because we skipped
because
past it.
you didn't see anything in the Blasphemous 1 run.
But if you've played the game casually, you'll recognise the name and a little bit of the kind of location.
Yeah, so wait for this guy to turn again. And instead of going forward here, we're going to go down to Mother of Mothers. Now, what's also nice in this game, if you fall on spikes, it is not an insta-kill anymore. And they fixed the hitbox for them as well. It will just teleport you to the last platform that the game knows you've been in, or actually the last safe position, the game calls it. Which also leads to a lot of glitches that people like Pedro and Discord have experimented with. You can spawn the Penitent One in very weird locations and out of bounds and such. So this is Mother of Mothers, which is the area from the first game, although it's entirely different now. I'm attacking that door early, and attacking it breaks it early. Usually you have to wait for the whole animation of it opening to play, but if you attack it, it breaks, which is very nice for a little time save. That was discovered by Maeve, I think. My memory's a little bit wishy-washy for that.
Yeah, so this location's pretty much in ruins compared to what it looks like Blasphemous 1, because it has been such a long time.
Well, it has all these new things, and the sensors are still burning. Hopefully just walk under this guy, and I want this guy to do his attack. If he doesn't do his attack there, I need to do a dodge attack, which is what the rapier has. The rapier is also what is allowing me to pass through these mirrors. That's a sort of movement element to the weapon. So the sensor or mace lets you ring the bell to spawn platforms and open doors. The sword lets you break those thorny roots, and the rapier lets you teleport through mirrors. So here we're just going to work our way down to our first actual fight of the game.
What kind of percentage of the game do you think's done at this point that you've now got to the first boss?
And if you were doing it normally,
Yeah.
it's about 40% of the game. So there's Yerma waiting to help us. Unfortunately, we're not going to be asking her for help. All I grabbed there was grabbing a fervor boost for Veredicto, and I'm grabbing mystical damage for Beyblade. So this is a Philor, and hopefully he won't. Never mind. He jumped.
Once again, we come into the RNG portion of the run, which is just every boss really. Try and get our best moves.
So he will cycle through 3 different swords.
He also Beyblades.
He does Beyblade. So he's gone to his second sword now. So I think in real life, these people are like street vendor kind of things that will actually go around sharpening blades and selling knives and that kind of thing. So it's I should say the dev studio for this are Spanish, so they have a lot of real life references and things. He's doing the longest attack that he possibly has, and I can't really kill him yet because I need fervor for later, so I can kill him now.
With every attack that Zerlix does, he gets fervor back as well, so there are kind of those things that he needs to weigh up while he's doing it.
And I need to have a certain level of fervor for later because I need to teleport a couple times. This is going to be a little section, Cherry, if you have anything to read, this is good.
Alright, I would like to mention that this event raises money to support Crisis, a charity supporting homeless people, a charity supporting people out of homelessness for good. They achieve this through education, training and support with housing, employment and health. 90% of your donations will go towards supporting Crisis, and 10% will go towards UKSG's future events. Here's more about what they do in their own words. We help homeless people find and keep a rented home. We do this by working with landlords to ensure a supply of places to live and giving homeless people the tools and knowledge they need to rent successfully. Back to you.
Here's Cherry. So now it has spawned us in not where we left, because it thinks we have just beaten this boss of this area. Because of the order that things were done in, and that wasn't meant to hit me. I need you. So it spawned us under where it thinks we should be in the game, and which means we will not be fighting the boss of this area at all. We're just going down here to grab a movement ability, which will allow us to dash in the air. And then we're going to go back down and grab double jump. I don't know if I grabbed the warp gate. We're about to find out. So now we have this air dash. I hope I grabbed it. I did. Okay.
Okay. Bated breath there.
So generally you're meant to unlock that one we just went to by going through another warp gate, but it's slower for us to do that, so we just use a little ascension to get up there. We'll be using that one quite often, so it's necessity to have. So here we're going to grab double jump. Now we now have all the movement abilities that we will be getting in the run. There is one more, but we completely ignore it for the run because we do not need it with all these different movement abilities we have. So we're going to go down. Now it's just a case of going through areas, killing the boss, go to the next area, kill a boss, because we haven't figured a way to skip bosses yet. Because every event is scripted, they made sure we couldn't beat this game too fast. So the boss of this area is Odon, and he likes to give you a little welcome right at the start. And we are hopefully going to say goodbye to him in the matter of seconds. I'm also going to kill this guy, because the things we use to upgrade our weapons, called Marks of Martyrdom, and you can gain them through world pickups. He didn't drop one, which he should. There we go. You can gain them through world pickups and 40 total from killing enemies. Okay, he's not playing nice.
Not a fan of Beyblade.
You can do it with 3 Beyblades, but I guess I positioned them wrong. That's still not bad. He has a move where he will jump, and that is what you don't want, because it takes like 8 seconds to complete all of that stuff. I'm hitting these guys to get fervor, because I will need a lot of it. Don't worry about the health, it's okay.
Did you hear me thinking that there?
So now we're going to skip a portion of this area as well with, you guessed it, Ascension. Those dolphins do about half your health if they hit you. It's really not fun. So what I will be attempting for the next boss is a new skip called Odon Skip, which involves that phantom hover which you briefly seen me do in the big tower. I just have to do it a lot more and off screen to avoid the trigger for the boss. Now what's funny is the boss is actually in the arena, so if I do it correctly I'll be hit by him, but it won't trigger the boss fight anyway. Being hit by him is actually a good indication of where I am on the screen as well. So hopefully it will just work out nicely and go well. But it can be a fairly annoying trick to do.
And as you can see, we don't really need to pogo over many enemies anymore because we can just double jump over them.
So what we're going to grab here is Azure Typhoon and get Max Fervor, because I don't know why it's never Max Fervor. So this is Azure Typhoon. Grab the ledge, okay.
Yeah, this can take a couple of tries because there's levels of height that this reaches and there's no real consistent way of knowing. But there we go.
So now I'm doing a bunch of phantom hovers off screen and skipping over the trigger for the boss, which is huge. So I think I've hit the boss, which is unfortunate. I think I will redo it because it's going to be longer to fight the boss than do the skip.
And it's a cool skip.
So I didn't get my pause where I needed it, but the boss fight will take a lot longer if I try and do it. So, oh, and it's not saved. This game doesn't have save and quit like the first game. This game just has quit, which is rather annoying in a lot of cases. Okay, we'll get it this time. If he will climb the ledge. This is also a trick that's dependent on frame rate. The lower the frame rate, the higher you go, which is very frustrating. So we're getting the setup again. This time. Should be okay.
Nice.
Okay.
And you didn't take any damage that time?
It's because I was lower, which meant I just took longer to
Yeah.
do it, but yeah. So this is the labyrinth, which is a little bit of a annoying area to go through. There's a lot of things. Those enemies that are flying are literally called 2P for 2 position. Very creative name for them. I'm sure they have an actual name in the game, but in the game files it's 2p. So we're making ourselves over to the 4th boss, Synodo, who is an RNG fest of a boss. But all things considered, it will hopefully go okay. Now, I know I said everything was scripted, but for some reason this area is in the game anyway. It's loaded even at the start of the game. So we've been trying to find a way to get into it without having to do anything. And we cannot find a way. We have a potential victim of where we'll go through, but we can't get through a single door. It holds us back from breaking the game. Also, I'm being particularly careful around these dudes breathing fire because the hitbox is also not representative of the graphic on screen, and they do about 1/3 of your health per hit, which is very inconvenient, to say the least. So now we're at the Severed Tower, which is where you're meant to get the last movement ability of the game. I don't have enough fervor to Mirabris.
Yeah, and these locations are beautiful as well. Like, it's something that we just kind of gloss past because we're going so fast through them, but the locations and the music are all fantastic in this game.
Yeah, absolutely. This is a mistake. I need fervor. I'll get it from something. It's fine. Good. Usually I have fervor there, so I'm not in a routine for how to actually get it, but it works. But yeah, the music in both games is fantastic. They've done a really amazing job. I've messed this up, but
yeah, you can hear a little bit of it through this sequence, and it's just beautiful.
Okay, so the ability you're meant to get here lets you hang on to little brothers or angel things that let you scale up, so you're meant to be able to do that to get into here, but we have our tricks, of course. And this is Synodo, who has 4 different faces. And we're going to be showing off a Pogo Weight of Sin. So we're going to use the Pogo to get a max height Weight of Sin. Weight of Sin at the max height does damage every single frame that it's active, which leads to stupid damage and very convenient damage. And he's going to hit me here, unfortunately. Now this face isn't too bad, but it can heal also if you don't hit it a lot.
It's RNG which face the enemy changes to, and there's also RNG what attacks they do, so like this is very slow, but you get some hits in.
This is good.
This is the best one because you can get 3 hits in if you're
He's
fast
going to
enough.
change to his last face, maybe? No? I don't want him to change just yet, but I'm going to take damage here deliberately so that he will change. He's baiting me, he's going to change, don't worry. So here the whole floor goes on fire and you're meant to hang and do a really cool fight, but that's the really cool fight, there you go. So that's Synodo. It's a really good fight casually because you have to adapt to a lot of different things. He didn't give me the worst face, which means you can't do any Weight of Sins during that phase and it takes forever, and he fills the screen with projectiles, so I'm really glad he didn't do that and played nice. But we are approaching the final boss. We have 3 bosses left to kill. And the next one is probably my least favourite in the game. Surprise, surprise, it's also almost entirely luck based what they do. So we'll see how they're playing today. We are going to skip the entire area of the next boss because we don't want to do it, and we have the ability to do so. There's actually like 3 ways, I think, of skipping the next area entirely, but we will of course be using Ascension to do so.
Yeah, a little bit like the Jack 2 and 3 runs if you've seen them. If we have a problem, we just fly over it. Like so.
I don't think I've hit a single fastest way to sin yet, but I've hit the fast one, so it's okay. So we're back up at elevated temples now, because we need to go over to 2 moons the wrong way. Now usually the way we are coming from... Well, sorry, if you approached it from the other side, there would be a platform from where we're about to go. But we are approaching from this side, so there's no platform. However, this game retains your action through screen transitions, so all I'm going to do is hold jump through this transition, and it's going to give me a free jump, which allows me to double jump and dash. There's usually a platform on the left there. Before we used to use some Verse Hover or Veredicto Air Ignite to do that, but now we don't need that. So up here is the way to the boss the backwards way, and you're meant to come down... Oops. You're meant to come down here after the end of the fight, but we don't care about that. That's the slowest hover you can get, Ascension. And in Unrestricted you don't even need to fight this boss because you're entering it from the wrong side, so the AI doesn't actually activate and you can hit it. I'm not allowed to because of this category, but you can. So this is Susona and she sucks. Ideally, I want to get 2 Way of Sins, I didn't, but it's okay. Now these lightning balls you cannot dodge through, rather conveniently as well, you have to avoid them properly. She has only 3 attacks really, well 3 main like sections of attacks. This one, the lightning balls, and another one, I'd completely missed that. So it's not shaping up to be very good. So hopefully she'll do one where I can actually hurt her. This attack does get faster later on, which is why getting damage now is so important. And she gives you a lot less opportunity to hit her. I'm looking for this attack where she's going to sit down and spawn lightning, because I can hit her with Beyblades. Oh boy.
Oh boy.
Let's not die. So I sacrificed a lot of damage there to heal, but it's also going to waste way more time if I die, so...
Safety first.
Safety first. And now she's going to do the 3 versions of this laser, where she spawns smaller platforms and moves faster. I should be able to kill her at... Oh, she only done 2. She usually does 3.
Playing nice.
I wanted her to do the 3rd, because I could have killed her. So this is probably the longest I've ever fought her. She has such a small amount of health left. Is she gonna do 3? No? Okay, so she never...
Just out to get you today.
She never does 2, which is really weird.
Has that never happened before?
No, I think this is the...
That's off the bingo card.
This has never happened before.
Can't have a marathon without it.
Yeah. I don't think it's even happened once, never mind twice. So anyway, no death, which is really nice, because I hate dying to Susona. It just burns something inside me when I die to her. I think I've got a really seething hatred for her. But now we're going to go to the worst area in the game, 40 minutes into the run, where everything can go wrong and all runs die. This area is called Crimson Rain, but for all intents and purposes, my split is called Crimson Pain. We now have all 5 doves, which means a door is going to open. The nice thing about having to spend so long on Susona though is I have fervor. Usually I have none and have to go kill some things to get fervor.
We'll call that a time gain. Maybe that's why you got the 2 cycles instead of 3, because you just hate her so much. So she's like, you know what? This is my time. Time to get something back on.
So Crimson Rain, which we're coming up to, has its name of Crimson Pain because it's a big gauntlet, or it's got 3 arenas that you have to do, all from one checkpoint. And we are going to be skipping all 3 of them. And it's quite dangerous. And it's very easy to die in Crimson Rain. Oh no, everyone's dead. But the door's open. So I'm going to swap my weapon order again, because I'll need it swapped in a second. So we get our first ascension, and here we go, Crimson Pain. So the first thing we're going to be doing is missing a platform. But the other first thing we're going to be doing is Mirabrus Hover, which hasn't been shown in the run yet. If you do a Weight of Sin really early into Mirabrus, you get a completely different behaviour from it, which I'll hopefully show off right here. And miss it. That was too early. There we go. So this is a hover, which lets us move horizontally and keep our position, and you can move out of it. So we're completely skipping this area. And this is Arena 1. Goodbye, Arena 1. First try on that, which is never happens. That's a swag skip. This is Arena 2. Goodbye, Arena 2. And now we're going to do a little bit of upgrading. I'm grabbing a lightning upgrade for Sarmiento. I'm grabbing a defense upgrade in general and some other garbage that I don't remember, but it doesn't matter. So that was Arena 1 and 2. I hope you enjoyed. There is Arena 3. First we deal with this guy who likes to kill you. He'll hit you off the platform into spikes and you die.
Sneaky, sneaky.
So we're going to go do one of the hardest skips in the game. You can't dodge through these blood droplets, by the way, that's why I'm being so careful. So this is Arena 3, and the skip is quite finicky. So I didn't get it there. What I need to do is get a blood droplet to hit me during ascension, a fast ascension, which lets me gain control again and jump over the arena trigger. I'm going to have to do some verse hover. So that was Arena 3.
Yeah.
I hope you enjoyed all the arenas of Crimson Rain. And we're on to the second last boss. That's one of the best arenas I think I've ever had. Not arenas, Crimson Rains I've ever had. Everything was more or less first try.
Yeah, very good.
And this is a good time for any reading because it's about a 17-minute cutscene. It's not, it's like 3 minutes, but...
I certainly can. We have $5 from the one and only Paulister. I think we should start a donation train to thank the lovely tech team. Between the bonk memes from this morning to ensuring the stream is always of top quality, tech is amazing. Let's get that train going. Choo choo.
Hear that.
And we have $5 from Tombo D99. Thank you, tech. I agree entirely.
Absolutely. One fun part about this boss is that if you do die to it, you need to listen to a little bit of this cutscene again and again, again. So if you're a casual player, this is also a really tough boss, so you might be hearing that final couple lines from.
Casually, this is the only boss that gave me any trouble, because most of this game is fairly easy, and then they just decided to make this boss like ridiculous compared to the rest of them. He's got 2 phases, and it gets quite rough to fight.
Yeah, so you might be hearing this line quite a lot if you play this.
Yeah, this is where a lot of people will just give up on the run, which is unfortunate. Did I change my weapon order?
Did.
I did, yeah. So another fun thing, which makes no sense, is Sarmiento can get buffed by lightning right now, and the only attack that actually gets any damage buff from that is a diagonal attack. I don't know why, but that's just how it is. So I'll be using a lot of diagonal attacks to hopefully just melt down his health. And he's given me some relatively good attacks right now. I'm going to eat my words for saying that, but we'll see. So this is phase 1. It's no big deal. You just hit him a bunch. But you have to do phase 1 again if you die, which I hopefully won't. And unfortunately, I need to actually focus for this fight because it can become a mess. And we're using level 1 Sarmiento, which doesn't do a whole lot of damage. So he just whipped out Chrysanthus' sword, and he is one of the coolest characters in the game. He is the first penitent one, if you didn't catch that from his year-long speech. So he does typically do the same pattern of attacks for a little while, and then he'll change up a little bit later. So he does like his combo, then he'll do 2 of these, and then back into the combo again. And I'm waiting for him to change like phase where he'll do another attack, which is way better for getting damage on him, but can also kill you. The reason I'm doing the dash attack, not only to damage him, it extends your iframes, which is very nice. So I should be changing over to doing the next attack soon. Yeah, so here it is. That will destroy your health very nicely. And this is the next one. And those are meant to be like worse attacks, but they're also way easier to avoid. I'm also not being mega optimal because the second attack in his first chain, you can actually jump over it and attack him during that one, but it's risky and I don't feel like doing that. So he's going to change phase again soon. There we go. And spawn all the bosses, half of which you didn't even see. It's a really cool part of the fight. That's Benedicta, who we didn't fight either. And I got hit. It's okay, I can heal. And there's Odin. And then he's going to come in the middle. And I've also lost my lightning buff now because I got hit, and we got hit again. It's okay. Do something. There we go. I just need to get back into the rhythm of it. So I don't know if you saw the amount of damage a single attack from him done, but it was like most of my health. You'd usually have about like quadruple the health bar by this point in the game.
Basically makes the speed run just a don't get hit run.
Yeah. Should be dead. And that's Eterno.
Nice one. Good job.
So in my recent run, I had this much health and went straight to the last boss without healing and got the world record. But I don't think I really feel like doing that just now. So I'll go heal up and hopefully not die to the last boss, who is basically a boss of don't get hit at all and really awkward RNG, and yeah, he's not fun at all. And if you die to him, you have to watch his cutscene again as well. Not Eternos, but the last son of the miracle. So here we go. This will be Devotion Incarnate, and we'll hopefully get not bad RNG.
And the Bifecta like this has never been really done before, has it?
Nah, I don't think so. Because the game's so fresh as well.
Yeah.
This boss is really easy casually. Speedrun setting, he's not. He's ended many runs.
And is time after this, or is there a cutscene?
Time is on death of this boss.
Okay. Count me down.
Here we go. So if I'm anywhere not in the center of this attack, that hits me for a lot of damage, and he's been not nice. And I'm gonna get hit. So that's not a good start, because now I need to heal and can't get hit at all. It's very unforgiving. I just hope the flower phase will be nice to me. That will make sense very soon. Oh no. Oh no.
Nice. Oh no.
Oh no. It's not looking good. Nice flower face. Okay. So there's two patterns that this can spawn in. One close, one far. And we got the close one, which is nice because these flowers respawn. Okay, he's doing this. Not getting weight of sins, but I'm being careful, so it's okay. If you do it too early there, they'll hit you and, well, that's death. Times after the next weight of sin,
Yep.
which will be very soon.
Oh no!
No! Well,
My hand was over the buzzer.
so there was no reason for me to do a weight of sin there. It's just how I've always killed the boss. And there's that line again of that's never happened before.
So if you like that boss,
Well, now you see the boss again, you know, he's a great boss. Yeah, so make sure you do it right. So now he's going to give me all the worst things he could possibly do. He's going to give me the bad flower pattern, and he's going to spawn the platforms like 3 seconds into the fight.
yeah, we're just making sure that the audience understands just what this boss can do.
Oh, I've got some really weird graphics on the sword. That's too early. I knew it. No. Yeah, see?
Yeah, this is super early for this phase.
For reference, I can usually get him to about half health, or at least 3/4 health before he spawns in the platforms. I'm jumping when I'm attacking because it cancels some of the recovery animations for Veredicto. Oh, good flavor still. Although that one should be dead. I need to be like uber careful here because those will hurt you a lot as well.
Oh. You've got time.
So yeah, as I said, if you're not right in the center for there, that happens. Third time lucky?
That's what you get for saying that this one didn't give you as much problems.
I need it. Right, now there's no chance of losing, right?
Yeah, can someone do a donation for good RNG?
Bastard. Okay. Take your time. The true luck will be if he gives me the good flower pattern 3 times in a row. He is taking his time to do it though,
Yeah.
which is fine by me.
There we go.
Oh, yes.
Wow.
I didn't give a jump. Okay.
Yeah, these make me tense.
Oh.
Putting us through it.
It's still on the way to sin. Right, you're ready.
Your prayers have been answered.
So that has been Blasphemous 1 and 2. And I hope you guys have enjoyed. Just a shout out to the Blasphemous community in Discord and all the people that jump in to tell me to do this, and thank you for you guys and UKSG for having me. It's been good fun and it's been great runs, and thank you for Tech and everyone else supporting it.
Yeah.
So
Thank you, everyone.
cheers, hope you've enjoyed. Well, that is me.
Alright, thank you, Zerolix. On the topic of tech, we do actually have several tickets to the Tech Praise Hype Train. I'm being told it's actually Tech-its. Alright, we have $5 from Josh and Moose. Reject Tech, embrace hosting. $5 from Boglore. Tech.
Tech!
$5 from Trash to Plays. Thank you, Tech Donation Train. Also, Burger. We have $5 from Popiter. Love Tech. Also, Bovril and ET. $5 from Calliope. Choo Choo. Tech Team is amazing. $15 from HUD601. The cheers, donos for the Tech Team. Yes, I'm technically thanking myself too, but who doesn't love a pat on the back? $5 from TB Silver, bonk the tech train. $5 from Droid, thanks Tech Team, and remember the words of the wise Quabonk Jin. The ability to bonk does not make one intelligent. That is every tech-it. And we now are going to go to a brief intermission and move on to Viper, who is running Elmo's Letter Adventure.